Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sit Down, Shut Up, Saturday edition. This is supposed to be a more friendly time for my East Coast and EU friends, or even Central Time, really, which is what's going to be happening today. So, wow, hair does not look great today. Okay, so let's bring them on. Got Navi today. All right. Hey, Navi, can you hear me?
Hey, Juzzy. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Great. How's it going?
Awesome. You're doing good. Doing
Good,
good.
good,
I
good.
really just woke up at a
Oh,
late night,
oh, no
so
worries. Well,
yeah,
we'll still get through it. I think should be all right.
yes,
Uh,
yes, yes.
so
No,
yeah, I was looking at the note you had mentioned. Basically, I guess you're a Mai main now, right? You running Mai pretty much exclusively,
yeah,
or
I feel like
okay,
ever since I guess she came out, I feel like I've been able to kind of control a match better with her.
okay, okay.
So I feel like I'll push on with her for at least a little bit longer.
Right on, right on. And you're just looking for some feedback on your game, maybe from you said fundamental standpoint. So I'm guessing that means like
Yeah,
how your neutrals looking, how the Oki and setups and stuff look. So I think that's a fair
yeah,
thing. Cool.
yeah. Definitely like a peer-to-peer review. I feel like sometimes I like let the brake off the gas, or I kind of
Mm-hmm.
forget my strategy within I guess the time being
Sure, sure,
of
sure.
the match. So
Gotcha. So let me invite you to this custom room, and then get started
awesome.
here.
Just let me start the game. Sorry.
No worries. Okay, so while getting up there, I'll just mention it. So what we'll do today is we'll run a first to three. We'll kind of go through that. Then we'll do a little replay review after that. Take a look at one of the replays from me that we just played, as well as one of the replays you sent me. I know you sent me a couple, so we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
After that, we'll do a little lab work potentially. So if there's a situation that maybe needs a little more in-depth explanation or something to look at, we can take a look at that. And then if there's time after, we'll do another first to three run back. Does that sound
Sounds
reasonable?
good. Yep. That
Cool.
sounds good to me.
So the invite's been sent out. So go ahead and join and queue up when you're ready.
Yes, I got it.
Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna deafen in Discord while we're playing, just so I don't influence anything you're doing while I talk. And then I
Sounds good.
also may not rematch right away, mostly because I'm continuing to talk, right? Articulate when I'm
Yeah.
saying all that. So yeah, if I don't rematch right away, don't worry, I'm still here. Time may run down, but should be all right. So, all right, man, good luck.
Sounds good. You
All right, so Navi, I think they were on Cammy before, and they had a pretty solid Cammy too. And last time I played their Mai, actually, they cooked me pretty hard. So hopefully we'll be able to win some games here. But they play a pretty solid play style, a little aggressive, but that's how it goes. Nice whiff punish. Oh, good DP. Uh-oh. Well, that was a late DP. Alright, so burned out here. A couple of charged fans that maybe weren't advisable. Yeah, so neutral game is actually fairly solid, right? We didn't see a lot of with too many whiff buttons, I don't think. They landed a couple of whiff punishes here. Their block strings, though, do seem to be pretty... Oh, Photo perfect parry. You gotta be careful on perfect parrying jabs like that. You gotta go for something maybe a little bit less committal on the button. Nice. Let's see if they tech. Fully coming to the full throw loop here. Oh, okay. That's actually pretty good. Okay. So what I'm seeing so far is that, at least in game 2, they're a little more passive, right? They decided to press press less buttons, and that kind of put them in a situation where they felt like they had to make the most of the ones they did press, and then they whiff punished them a couple of times, right? And it made them a little hesitant to press. I didn't get knocked down too often, so when I did though, it seems like they apply light pressure, which is fine, right? Like meaty lights and stuff. Yeah, see. Oh, nice. I think that's a drop, right? I'm pretty sure that crouching medium punch links into itself on counter hit or on punish counter. Oh, that's a input error, most likely. Dealing with Jinrai can be tough. Oh, what a backdash. Okay, good bait. I'm going to reversal one more time. Oh. That was unfortunate. So I'm pretty sure they had a setup there, and then a DP came out for whatever reason. That's real unfortunate, but it is what it is. Oh, nice whip punish. That's level 1's pretty good. Get the charge. DP me. Yep, good. Oh, nice walk back. Oh, that clipped me? Level 2? Oh, okay. I would have level 2 there just because it seals the win. But, I guess they didn't need it. Life total is probably pretty good, so probably not a big deal there. It's never a bad idea, I think, to go into super for a win in a situation like that. Even if you're very far ahead. Okay, the burnout here is going to be tough. Uh-oh. Ah! I messed up my punish counter call. Oh, man. And then I cash out for no reason here. Yeah, on the light Jinrai and burnout like that, Ken is actually -3 on the medium Jinrai, right? So he's actually safe because you're in burnout. So it's pretty common for Kens to go for that particular string and burnout, crouching medium kick there, because it catches you walking back. And if you try to reversal there, it'll, you know, Ken will block it. Nice. So the biggest issue I think right now for Navi here is the meter management, I think. So they've been pretty close to... I think they're okay right now, but... Nice wake up. But I feel like they are low on drive a lot. Maybe it doesn't matter right now because they have stock and everything. Oh, what a whiff punish. That was nice. So I ended up trying to go for maybe a little bit more cheeky, trying to burn them out. Didn't quite work out, so let's change it up, get a little aggressive. Doesn't tech, which is kind of good. They just do the walk back, right? Oh, just as I say that, huh? Oh, this punish counter should have worked. Oh, I didn't... Oh, am I dead? Nice! Yeah, so... I should have went for the other combo. I didn't do that correctly. I ended up dying for it, so... That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing, though, in neutral. They are being a little more patient now, at least in Game 3. I would like to see a little bit more fan mix-up, though. I think they aren't using that as much as they probably need to be or should be, so, you know. Just as I say that, huh? Maybe they heard me. It's the second time they've gone for that kind of meaty back what's it, back heavy kick or back meaty kick, whatever it is, and then parry behind it, expecting me to take a turn. But the thing is, you're like Mai is super plus there, right? So there's no reason for me to press in that situation. Oh, that worked. Yeah, so I also think that I think their defense has mostly been okay. It's just maybe I'm mixing it up a little bit more here. Nice. Yeah, shimmy, mid-screen shimmy like that, that's brutal. Should kill it, I think. Okay. So, again, I think, like, overall their game is actually fairly solid, right? They play neutral pretty patiently. I think they do need to do a little more fan mix-up just to keep me on my toes, because we saw how effective that was when that was happening, right? But otherwise, you know, it looked okay. Let's bring them back on. Hey, buddy, how'd it go? What do you think?
Hey, I think it went pretty good.
Okay.
I definitely had a couple, I guess, unfortunate drops,
Yeah.
especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I feel like as it went on, I was trying to, I guess, adapt and kind of initially kind of only throw normal buttons out, and then once you stop kind of direct rushing in, once I checked it once, I was able to start throwing fans a little bit more comfortably.
Yeah, I was kind of saying on stream is I think that you could probably do fan mix up a little bit more. I felt like I think you're right. I think you were kind of waiting to see if I could deal, if I was how I was trying to play neutral. But I do think that a lot of your game is pretty solid, right? You were able to get some pretty good whiff punishes on me. I think what happened was toward the later parts of the set, I kind of adapted to throw less buttons out a little bit, like I was being a little more patient outside of your range. And then once you got whiff punished once or twice, you were kind of scared to press buttons after that, right? So
Yeah.
let's bring up the replay here. I'm going to share my screen in Discord so you can see it, so it's not lagged by the stream at all. So let's go live here. Okay, then we'll grab, I think the second one. Let's look at the one where you won. So let's add this to the list. And then we'll take a look at I think the game 2 is probably a good one here. All right, so we'll look at game 2 first, and then we'll look at the other one that you won, and take a look at what was working for you there. So again, what I was saying on stream and I was feeling was that I think your neutral game is pretty solid. And there just may be situations where you didn't quite identify what I was trying to do, and then you kind of got punished for it, right? So let's take a look and see how this goes. Okay, so I mean, here it's just you try to dash up, and I kind of open with a drive rush. Is what it is.
I did realize that you kind of started a couple, like 3 rounds in a row with your drive rush, so I can start checking that with like medium kicks or medium punch.
Yeah, and you did, right? You did that pretty effectively in like game 3 or something like that, right? So, so here, just kind of applying, pressing buttons while you can't really do anything about it, right? Kind of force the block. Right, so stuff like that, right? Like this is, I think what kind of deterred you from pressing buttons more and more. Was like you were kind of getting whiff punished in these situations, whereas like I'm standing outside of your stand medium kick range, right? And then I just kind of counter poke with crouching medium punch because Ken's crouching medium punch is kind of absurd, right? It has a good disjoint, and then buttons in this game definitely have more recovery and more like hitbox extension, if you will. So stuff like this happens a lot. I obviously don't buffer behind this. I should be like that's something I'm working on my game, but I think like when situations like this happen. Your mind tends to go to, oh crap, now I can't really press those pokes anymore because I'm getting whiff punished. And then you see it, I think, through the rest of the set where you kind of are hesitant to press when I'm standing at that range, right? So
I feel like especially that happens when like I'm in tournament as well, where if kind of once I get punched in the face with like whiff reversals, it kind of like I spin myself in the corner and I always can't find myself out.
Yeah. So like this happens, right? And then now you kind of back up and you're kind of hesitant to press now, right? Like you don't really like right here. You walked in the range. Like right here, you're in range to press the button, but you're kind of hesitant now because you're like, oh, I'm not really sure. So the only tip I can really give you here, and this is really kind of a higher level thing, I guess, or maybe not higher level, but it's very difficult, is that you have to have a kind of a, when I say short memory, you have to have short memory of the times where it didn't work out. You know what I mean? Like, you can't let that impact you too much overall.
Yeah.
Like, the information you get from how I counterpoked you, that you should store and keep track of, right? Like, what happened in that situation, how it happened. But the negative feeling you get of like, oh crap, I got hit, that has to kind of go away sooner rather than later, right? Because another opportunity here presents itself where you could have pressed a button and you might have been in range for this, right? I mean, obviously, I try to whiff punish you again because that's what I'm going to do, since it, the other side is true, right? It just worked for me, so let me try it again. And I think if you had recognized that and went for a whiff punish of your own here, that might have worked, right? But it's very difficult because in this scenario here, the roles that we're playing in neutral shift so fast, right? It was going from first, oh, I'm trying to whiff punish you, to now I pressed a cover attack, and now you need to whiff punish me, right, in order for this interaction to go your way. And that's very difficult to recognize, right? And especially in a tournament setting where your heart is beating a million miles a minute, it's like every interaction is one step closer to you losing, right, your bracket set or whatever. So, but yeah, that's the trick of it, I think, is that in situations like that, when you get hit, you kind of have to let that roll off your back a little bit. Again, the information that you got, what led up to that situation, how the opponent reacted, all that stuff you should keep and store in your data banks, if you will. But the bad feeling of getting hit needs to go away sooner rather than later, right? So
just be ready for the next interaction.
Exactly, right? Like, oh crap, I missed or I got hit. Okay, well, I saw what happened in the situation, I'm ready for it now, let's go again, right? So right, so this is an outstanding whiff punish here, right? I whiff my button, you hit me, perfect, right? Unfortunately, you drop it here. I'm pretty sure this is a link, right?
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not supposed to press that button either. It's supposed to be a normal medium punch.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, and I feel like the double crouching medium should have worked too, but it seems that I pressed it a little bit too late.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure this does work because I've definitely seen Mai's on counter hit go for a second crouching medium punch. I could be wrong. I don't actually know, but I mean, this should have worked.
Yeah, this is a drop. Yeah, like that's just a couple in there.
Yeah, no worries.
That one
that's
also.
Yeah, I mean, this worked out though, right? So you made him. You dropped it here. I didn't recognize. I recognized the drop, but I didn't recognize what's happening after this. You're plus here. I try to back up out of the potential throw. I get clipped, and then you walk up, throw me, right? So this was actually a pretty good interaction for you overall. I mean, you know, you went 3 bars and it wasn't quite what you wanted, but it's still positive for you, so not bad.
Yeah.
Good recovery, I will. I'll say. Then an unfortunate drop here too, right?
Yes, I've been practicing on kind of like buffering, kind of hitting that, and I'll drop a couple. So
yeah, no, I get you. Buffering medium, or that's a medium, right? So I will say that I think, at least in my head, and I'm old, so it is what it is, but single hit confirming mediums in this game can be kind of tough. If you are gonna buffer that, like buffer the cartwheel behind it, and it's kind of a interesting way to do it, is that in this situation here, right, you try to press it so that your stand medium punch would whiff, if that makes sense. So you'd be pressing it slightly outside of that range, and the idea there is so that you try to catch me pressing something. So if you buffer behind this and just kind of let that rip, right, if you whiff it, nothing will come out. You know, it's kind of the same like low forward fireball Shoto game, right, where if you whiff the low forward, you know, nothing comes out. Whereas if it's a hit, then you know, that means that they would have pressed the button to get counter hit, and you can confirm. That is a way to do it. It just means the risk you're taking though is that you might whiff the button, right? Because you're whiffing a button, right? Like that's part of how you do it, right? So it's kind of the neutral dance. Again, I don't hate going for single hit confirms here. If you can do it, more power to you. But again, the risk here, if you miss it, is this, right? You get a full full punish counter combo from Ken here.
And I'm in the corner.
Yep, and then cornered again, right? Because Ken's side switch is absurd. So
yeah.
Right, so try to look like delayed jab there, Jinrai mix up.
Yeah, I was expecting you to at least like stop doing the last hit of Jinrai to walk up at least once, but you never did it. So.
Yeah, yeah. I never. It's funny because I never change what I'm doing unless it stops working, and sometimes it messes people up because, and I don't know. This is kind of a play the player thing where it's like sometimes I'll just continue doing the thing that had worked, and then people are like, oh no way, he goes for a third throw, and then I do, right? In fact, I was fully committed to throw loops here, right? You actually called out with a backdash, right here, right? So there's one. And then you backdash it, right? So pretty good.
Yeah.
Although, what's funny about this is that, unfortunately, I think it's not actually fully safe for you. So even if, or not safe, sorry, but punishable. The reason you hit me here is because I press a button. It looks like, right? So anyway, they need a buff backdash. Capcom, please.
Please, or take out the loops.
Yeah, take
One
out
of
the
the
loops,
two.
right? So there's the backdash. Right, we look at the frame meter. Actually, I was punishable, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I was totally punishable on a 4
Yeah,
frame.
I guess I chose the wrong one there.
Yeah.
gotta go
I
back.
also pressed, so I mean, it worked out. If I had not done anything and just blocked or delay teched or something, I think that this would have, you would have gotten on block. But it worked out. So,
Yeah.
but see, we see there that the counter hit crouching medium punch should link into crouching medium punch there. So, a good conversion here. All right, block the reversal for me. Good. Oh, that's an unfortunate drop though.
Yeah, that I kind of didn't have an idea there. I was like, I could go for level 1, but I could go for level 2, but it didn't kill.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I hesitated in that one.
Yeah, and then you kind of just defaulted to whatever input you had there, and a DP is what came out. Right?
Yeah.
So that was a good whiff punish, right? So if you look at that right here, I'm trying to do what I did to you the first round, which is catch you with a crouch medium punch as either a whiff punish or a counter hit, right? And then you actually catch my stand heavy punch with your medium punch here. So this is really good. You're playing at a good range. So I'll say that in general, I think your spacing is okay. You're playing at reasonable ranges most of the time. Could it be cleaner? Probably, right? Because we all can be probably better at spacing, right? I mean, we're starting to talk, we're not at your level here now. We're starting to talk about like pixels making a difference now, right?
Yeah.
So, can we get better? Sure, but I think you did pretty well here, right? Like I went in and tried to do this, assuming you'd walk forward, and then you whiff punish it, right? So this is perfect, right? I don't see any issue here. Full conversion. I like the level 1 here. I think that more Mai's should, and maybe this is personally, I don't know. I think trying to get stock early in a game here, using level 1 for that, is not a bad idea again with Mai.
Yeah, especially against like Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ken can't deal with charge fan or enhanced fan at all, right? Like he doesn't have a fireball. No, I mean no one really has a fireball that can test it, right? But Ken's fireball is worse than average, right? And he can't really contest it the same way that someone like a Guile or someone else probably can.
Yeah.
Right? So. Right, so perfect usage of the fan right here. Right, get me to jump, drive rush, DP, perfect. Good counter poke. Good whiff punish, right? So recognition of the delay tech, right? So I did see this a lot, or not a lot, but he did this more than once, I think, which was the parry after the plus frames here.
Yeah, it's because you're +1.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to see if you would jab, but you did it.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think a lot of players will press in this situation, right? They know, they may not know that they're, because this move, you have to do it meaty for that to be plus, right? So you have to recognize that that's the case. And I think like the first time you did this, I didn't press, right? So I think that should tell you that I think Juzzy recognizes that that's plus, he's not going to press, right? So you can continue your turn here. Maybe go for another like 4 framer here with like a light or something to try to catch me pressing, or you can just walk up throw, right?
If you're +1.
Oh wait, were you not that's my mistake, sorry. I thought this was the meaty sorry. That's my mistake.
No, yeah,
it's not the
walk
meaty
up
setup,
or
right?
no, this is
Oh, okay, sorry. That's my mistake. My bad, guys. My bad. My bad. So my +1, yeah. So the first time you did this, I thought it was plus. So maybe that's why. Now in this situation here, I actually don't mind it. Now that I know what I'm talking about, apparently. Sorry, my coffee hasn't kicked in either, I guess. Because I know that there's a setup here for my...
Yeah, there is.
Right, that's
I think it's after heavy DP for me.
Yeah.
If I whiff crashing medium punch into a back heavy kick, I'm +3 or +1 in that.
Okay, yeah. And then there's another one off a cartwheel where you do a forward dash. I think it's like medium cartwheel, maybe. There's like a setup for it or somewhere.
I think it's heavy cartwheel, with 1 dash.
Yeah,
I think I'm +1 there.
You'll be +1 there, right? So that's what I thought I saw anyway. So thinking about +1 situations here, though, is very difficult. This would have definitely worked, though, if I decided to press, right? It would have caught me for a parry. But I didn't do it twice, so I didn't take my turn back on here. So you could potentially, I'll say it's here, you could potentially steal the turn if I'm kind of being passive in a +1 situation. if you notice that. Now, again, it's kind of a read thing or a feel based thing because other players will press here, right? Like
Yeah.
minus plus, they actually may not even know, right? So,
Yeah. So then would you suggest, like, let's say I don't know who I'm playing
mhm.
first interaction and I do this, would you suggest testing if they know what it is, or just going for that perfect
I
parry?
think I would just test, right? So I would just
Okay.
block because if you look at the spacing here after this situation,
Yeah.
so you do the back heavy, you're minus, right? But the spacing here, if you don't parry, I think the throw will whiff. So if I go
Yeah,
for
I
a throw,
suppose.
right? But if I go for a delay tech here, right, I'm gonna catch you out of your parry, right? So if you do this, right, right. So if I, so the reason why I say that is because a parry again, if you want to make the read, you can, right? But I would suggest just blocking here, again, because delay tech is a very common defensive option in that scenario, right? They just took a hit. They may have delay teched that back medium or back heavy kick. They may do a second delay tech, right? Because they're there. They may not. So maybe it's okay. But if you parry there and I do nothing and I react to your parry, I can counter hit throw you, right? Like if you saw how much time I had to react to that, like it was pretty big, right? So there's that, right? So I think the parry is a little bit risky as a opening option, but if you see them pressing, then maybe it makes sense, right? If you see
Yeah.
them like trying to take their turn back aggressively, then maybe it makes sense. But yeah, it's tough because again, I think that if you don't parry there, the throw will whiff. So and it's kind of interesting that when you think about it that way too, because I didn't delay tech because I thought the throw would whiff, right? If you look
Yeah.
at my inputs here, right? I just don't react to the parry, right? Unfortunately for me. Now, if I was a better player and I was awake, I suppose I should have reacted to that. Like that's on me not doing that.
But now you
But
know you're +1.
yeah, but now I know I'm +1 here, right? But again, like the situation here means that a delay tech doesn't make sense, right? So maybe parry's okay, but if the player does nothing here, they can react to your throw. So it's a little bit risky.
Right.
A lot of good players too, like even if they're +1 here, they may not react to anything, right? They may just kind of wait and see what you do because +1 is not exactly real. And it's also your pressure here too, right? You're the one that was pressing, even though your turn is technically over here. So I would, me personally, if I was putting people in this position, I would wait and see how they like to try to react to that, and then go from there. So yep, whiff punish by the sweep. Good block. Oh, nice. So I thought you were gonna level 2 me here.
Yeah. Can you try level 1? Because like I thought level 1 could also work because I have the buff. It should work.
It's core circle back twice, right? Heavy.
Core circle forward with
Punch.
punch.
Okay.
Yeah, double core circle. Oh my
Oh, but
god.
doesn't kill though.
Okay.
So it'd have to be level 2, I think, if you wanted to do
Right.
that. Which I was saying on stream, I think it would have been fine to like I would not have hated the decision to level 2 in that scenario.
Yeah.
It's
I
okay to
just
do
felt
so.
comfortable to kind of save it,
Hmm.
but I also didn't know at the time kind of
Yeah,
what to do.
yeah. I mean, if level 1 would have killed here, I think that would have been a perfectly fine spend. Level 2 here can be a little tough to justify overall. I mean, it was fine if you take the round. You may be a little below on meter, but at least going around 3.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest factor that you have to take into consideration really is your own meter, right? So your own health is pretty high. You're burned out, unfortunately, right? So from here, this situation here, neutral, like you have to kind of force an interaction to beat me here, right? So
Yeah.
and you do eventually. I think you just throw me at some point like that, right? So I think it worked out. Was it a little greedy? Maybe, right? Because you have 2 interactions here, right? Like if I land a hit, I'll probably put you around here, but you'll be cornered because it's Ken. And then I have full resources to fully cash out, right? So from
Right.
like this scenario here after the comp conversion you did, right? This is 2 drive rushes, so basically a full cash out plus CA, right? So you know, one or two conversions here might get you in danger, right, of dying. So is it better to seal the round in this case? Maybe. I think the statement you're making here when you do this is that I know I'm going into round 3, so I'm gonna need this, right? So
Right.
your assumption is now you can out neutral me or beat me in the game to get there. And to your credit and to be fair, you are good enough to beat me, right? Is one. The second thing is that I'm only a straight hit away here, right? So if I make one
Right.
mistake, I'm dead, right? So
Yeah, I can just wait out the time too, and
yeah, there's plenty of options for you here, so it's okay to
yeah.
do so. I would say that if the health were closer, right, then it kind of is a feel thing. Do you feel like you can take me in neutral for one interaction or not? That's up to you to kind of decide on there.
Yeah.
I typically tend to not be greedy. That's just me as a player, though. Like, I don't care who I'm facing. If I can steal around or seal around with super and ensure that I'm going to go into round 3, especially, or in this case, obviously it makes total sense for me to spend. I'm going to win the game. But
Yeah.
if I'm behind a round or something like that, and this is me getting back, I think it's typically easier to ensure a round 3 happens versus like trying to play super tight to not lose the next round, right?
Right.
Because that tends to happen too for some players. Is they're in this situation right here, right, where they're one hit away from winning, and then they tighten up so hard that they can't press buttons or like they don't do the things that have been working for them, and they end up losing, right? Or they end up making a decision that doesn't make sense. Like, I'm gonna go for this one hit here, and then they get blocked on their reversal, right? Something like that.
I feel like
So,
especially with Street Fighter 6, you could like also run me down pretty fast.
yeah, the snowball effect here is crazy, right? You make 1 or 2 wrong guesses in an Oki situation, like you lose 1 neutral interaction, you make 2 wrong guesses in Oki, and you're dead here, right? Like, that's happened. I'm pretty sure you've done it to people, the same way that people have done it to you, right? Like that's how it goes. So again, it's a decision you have to make for yourself. I think this was totally fine though. I was saying on stream, I think maybe they should have level 2'd here, but you end up winning, so it worked out, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess it's to learn, like, it's okay to get that level 2 in sometime.
Yeah, because you build meters so fast in this game, right? Like, by the time it would have been relevant in the round 3, you probably would have had level 2 by then, right?
Right. And I feel like Mai is also good with just level 1 too.
Yeah, I think so. Just using level 1, getting stocks, right? Being able to do that. Or, if you have the skills to pay the bills, right, you could level 2 to anti-fireball, right? Stuff like that, right? So,
Right.
okay. So you had to answer me pretty good. I think, obviously I'll just mention, I could always use more work, but, I'm sure you saw it. You did a pretty good job of stopping me from jumping, though. Unfortunately,
Yeah, that one was a crosscut. I'm trying to, yeah.
Yeah.
Drops are like you're misdribbling a basketball, I feel.
Yeah. And it happens, right? Like, sometimes the game might just decide it doesn't give it to you. Maybe a little latency, whatever, right? But it's one of those other things you just kind of let it roll off your back. Or recover like you did last time, right? So you dropped your combo, but you kind of freestyled into something that gave you a positive interaction, right? So that's not a bad idea either. So I did mention here that I think your meter management might be a little bit loose at times. So here...
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So something to just pay attention to, right? So I think this was a fine driver's cancel, right? You have two bricks and a little bit more, so I think it's fine. But then this one is probably not as good of a spend here, right?
Yeah.
Especially on block, which, on sometimes that happens, right? You're making a read. You're trying to land that crouching medium punch. Maybe trying to whiff punish me or something. But before you go into drive rushes, definitely take a look at this, right? So if you see green, you're good, right? If you see brown, maybe not so much, right? So you could have just went for like, that into like whatever safe cancel Mai has for that, or just live with the crouching medium punch, right?
Right, just says poking.
Yeah. Because if you get a counter hit here, or punish counter, maybe you can confirm it as something. Or if you just land a hit, that's okay too, right? Because taking smaller hits like that doesn't necessarily, you don't have to necessarily maximize every opportunity in that sense. Mostly again because the opportunity cost here is too high in my opinion, right? Like you have to land this hit on hit, and even if you had converted this, right, what do you get? Right? Maybe you go to level 3 here, right? Maybe you full conversion, burn out level 3. Maybe you just put me in the corner, whatever, but you'll be burned out. No resources really to work with anymore. And I'm not dead, right? So I'd be like here somewhere. Or if you supered, maybe I'm here somewhere. But now, in that scenario, I'm one interaction away if you had resources. But now that you don't anymore, potentially you spent super or whatever, but you don't have drive anymore, you can't really extend. And that means that you may not be able to kill me in one more interaction. It might take 2. And you have to do that without meter now, right? So once they're burned out there, Ken can just kind of bully you with Jinrai, right? Like crouch medium kick heavy or medium Jinrai. Just this.
Yeah.
Like this right here? Yeah. So what I will say is
that
that
one is trying to read you. That
Yeah.
was just
yeah. Just be careful on supering in Burnout against Ken Jinrai there, right? Because Ken is only -3 on the medium Jinrai here, so can't do that there. A lot of Kens will not press the follow-up there just because they know it's safe now. So what happens, unfortunately, the Burnout is now you're too close, right? So after this happens... Right? If Ken doesn't do the follow-up here, even though he's -3, you can't punish, right? So a lot of players here will just kind of back up, right? They'll just try to hold back, but you're too close for the crouch medium kick, so you get tagged on the way back, right?
yeah.
So, that's how Burnout works, right? Is that you're really at a disadvantage, right? So if you had meter to deal with the Jinrai there, then you probably would have been okay. Or if you weren't in Burnout, that means you could have supered me on, punish me with super right there too, right?
Right.
But because you're burnt out, unfortunately, the frame data changes and now you can't, right? So, yeah. And then I missed my punish. Oh man.
Oh, you dropped it? I didn't
Yeah, this is supposed to be a crouching heavy punch here. So you see, I press it, it doesn't come out, and I'm like, and I went for this is the punish counter combo here. This crouching heavy punch run stop. I pressed it, doesn't come out. I'm like, huh?
It's
right?
still got
it's still
clip,
yeah. So anyway, and then I think you kind of stopped pressing because you're like, oh, I'm gonna die here, right? Or I get hit. So
yeah, I was expecting like, dang, like that's I gotta hold it now. But
yeah,
it happened.
it happens, right? So I will say in a tournament set, if you are playing like a serious set or whatever, never stop blocking, right? So even if this is happening, never stop blocking, because you never know, right? I dropped it here. So you have a chance now. I mean, now you don't have any resources, but at least you could convert, go back to neutral, right? So that's just a casual match, whatever. Who cares, right? It's not a big deal. But if it means something, definitely never stop blocking. Like it's not over until it says KO, right? So
yeah,
keep
I guess that's the foundation I'm learning, right? Like sometimes people will do a combo into a super, and since I already saw the super, I imagine it hits, but then it doesn't, and like for some reason it did the wrong combo, and the super doesn't hit, and now I wasn't blocking. Or I was like looking at my other screen, and then now like I missed my little chance to come back, right? Or try again, right?
Yeah. Because that happens a lot too. Like you'll see people, like as you're getting comboed, you watch the replay after, and you'll see them like pressing parry or like pressing throw tech or like mashing out supers and stuff. Because there's a chance the opponent drops it, right? And if the opponent drops it, you have a chance to get back into it. And it costs you nothing to continue doing that, right? Like I can press parry anytime I think I'm going to get hit, even while I'm getting comboed. Because if you drop it, I'll get a perfect parry, right? So, and it costs me nothing. Because if I'm already getting hit, I can't do anything else, right? So, so something to think about. Again, casual set, maybe not as big a deal, but when it's a ranked set or like a bracket set, probably want to do that. Or let's consider doing it. I mean, it's hard because your APM, now has to go up because you're pressing buttons all the time, but, it's unfortunate. So a couple of missed anti-airs there, I think, were ended up being what killed you. But if I had to take anything away from those two games, though, I think, again, your neutral is mostly okay. There's some spacing pieces that could be a little bit better, meaning, like, you could be standing maybe a little bit closer or maybe a little bit further, right? Like, pixel-wise differences. But I think otherwise your sense of when to press to try to get a lift punish and all that, I think is totally fine. I think that if you continue doing that, you're going to win a lot of games, right? Especially against players that aren't necessarily ready for that kind of neutral where, like, it's patient. They're just going to kind of drive rush and press and all that stuff. So as soon as you start checking the jumps and the raw drive rushes and they're forced to play the neutral game, I think you'll do pretty well for the most part. So, cool. And then the meter management would be the second part, right? At least in that last game, you're a little bit loose with the meter, and I think that the burnout ultimately is what ended up getting you at the end there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let me bring up one of the games you sent.
I feel like that was a really good break. That was a really good game to break down. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, and it's interesting too when you look at that because you see that you did a lot of things right too. It wasn't like I was winning by a ton for the most part. It's just that there were situations where maybe the decision making could have changed a little bit. Maybe it would have been like better if you had done this instead of that, but it's not a huge deal, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oops. let's do this one. Oop. Yeah, I think this will work. All right, so this is you against JP in ranked, I'm assuming. Is this ranked? Yeah, it was ranked.
Yep.
Oh, and something I did want to mention too is that I think you could probably stand to do more fan mix. I think I might have mentioned it earlier, but in those last 2 games, I didn't see too many fans.
Yeah.
So something to add to the game, right? Because in the game that you won, and in the games that you were owning, the fan mix-up is really hard to deal with, right? So, like me personally as a player, I haven't really gone through what I need to go through to actually learn how to counterplay that properly. So a lot of times I'm just kind of going by feel and parrying and derevving and that type of thing. So one of my strengths really is that fan mix-up, right? So, medium charge fan into, or was it whichever one has the lower bounce, or you choose the right bounce of the fan that you want, and then you walk in and do your thing, right? It's pretty strong. As long as you get an opportunity to charge the fan, right? Which might be a little tough against JP, so let's see.
Yeah, JP is a kind of a weird matchup for sure.
Yeah.
It's just I've always struggled with it. I don't know why. I just can't visualize what he's doing. So recently I met with Hot Soup and kind of asked him to play me a bunch, and it was pretty bad. I was like, I was getting command grabbed a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm full screen. It's like I know that there are ways of getting through everything, but I just can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
JP is one of those characters where playing by feel might get you killed.
Right.
Because you have to understand when you're plus, when you're minus, and how plus or how minus you are in those situations, and when you have to respect his options and when you can kind of get away with not respecting them, right? So Hatsoup's really good at the overall JP. Like, it's really difficult to get in on him, and he also plays a really solid like footsies game, right? Like, he can out footsie you with JP,
yeah.
right? He walks slow, but those buttons are slow, but man, I'm getting counter hit all day, right? It's tough. So it is a good one to learn from for sure. For the zoning aspects especially, like, he's really good at breaking down how the zoning aspects work and all that. So if we run into it here, I'll try to explain the best I can as I understand it, but as far as the matchup goes, he'd be the guy that I would talk to also.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's good to see a different perspective as well.
Yeah. So you do a good job here. Like, it looks like counter hit him, parries. It looks like you were trying to bait something here potentially, or maybe just impress right away. No big deal. Right. So another good counter hit here. Fortunately, you get hit here. Right. So let's see how you deal with it. Okay, good. Right. So spikes minus. Take up your space when you get it. He went for the OD there after. You went for the jump. It whiffs, so that's good. And then you dive kick in. Lands good. Okay, traverse slow. Unfortunately, I think you didn't quite get the conversion you wanted here. So I'm pretty sure you get light cartwheel. Yeah, you should get light cartwheel there, right? Okay.
Yeah, you see the combo or the input right there.
The input's right there, yeah. So the JP likes to jab you here. Oh, he missed his spike. Alright, so he likes to challenge as you walk up. Perfectly fine. Gets a light swipe. Portal, right? So here's kind of tough, right? JP has a portal up. He's in the corner.
Yeah, it's like a shield, right?
Yeah. You kind of have to respect what comes out of this, right? Even though it's because if he teleports, you have to be ready for that, right? The spike will come out. So you kind of have to respect what's happening here. You can't quite jump because this will come out and hit you, right? He can send the spike out early. So you do have to while this is up, you do have to respect. And I think the range you're standing at here is fine for this because he can't really hit you with his stand medium punch, right? The cane, and that's kind of like his best poke for that range. And then you're standing too far, obviously, for the stand medium kick or like the crouch medium kick or stand heavy punch, right? You're standing outside of range of that. So I think this is a fine position to stay in while the portal is up, right? Oh, big risk. That was sick. Okay.
Yeah. That was just like throwing out,
right? Just throw it out, yeah. And I think that's good. I think that doing these types of higher risk things in situations like that, I think it's good. Because it taxes the opponent's mental stack. So they were standing here sitting pretty with a portal, right? I'm like, oh, I'm good. I don't have to do anything. And then he just DI through the fake ghost, right? Right? Like he could even if that was a regular fireball, that DI would have went through it, right? So that was good timing for that.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things that kind of like up close is also where I struggle with JP. It's just like I don't know when it's a fake ghost or I don't know when it's like a command grab. So I
Yeah.
feel like DIing there is one of the kind of like, oh, like don't just fake ghost, just like
Yeah, yeah. If he had command grabbed you there, I guess it would have got you, but that's a very risky thing for a JP to go for there, and it might
yeah,
have actually
especially
counter
round
hit
one.
him. Yeah, out of that. So, okay, so you go for some pressure here, light pressure right after the DP. Right. So good. JP doesn't do anything. He's plus. So you see wait, and then he presses, right? So this would be like, okay, they like to press after this. Now you can try to think about doing that parry turnstile thing that you were looking
Right.
at. So let's see if you do it here. I don't know, but once you have an idea, again, like you saw the JP do this, so now maybe your parry will work, right? So. Good. Kill. Nice. So that was really good. You kept JP in the corner here, took away his zoning aspect, and then you kind of beat him in the neutral game where he can't really move as much, right? So the situations where you landed, it looked like it was mostly, unfortunately, a little bit hard read. So the DI was one, and then I think that at the end there, you know, what was it? At the end there, the last bit there, they weren't really like whiff punishes as much. They were just kind of like you went for a hard read and it worked out. So there's that one there. Actually, it was DI twice, wasn't it? So DI here.
Yeah.
Right. Blocks. Okay, the JP did the DI. Sorry, my memory was fading so fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you reacted to the JP elected to go for a higher risk thing here. Try to catch you pressing something that wasn't cancelable for some reason. And then you just reacted, right? So this is good.
Yeah, I feel like this is just like a good round, kind of like to show.
Yeah, it's a good round for you in that you're showing the JP that he can't get away with those type of shenanigans, right? So,
Right.
And you're too willing to do those things. Now, in his mental stack, he should be like, okay, this Mai is able to react to those things. I should adapt to play a little more solid. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so the drive rush there, right? Unfortunate that it didn't happen, but I think that's what you were going for, right? That would have been dope. Like the fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Just a bit.
Yep. All right, good check. Good hit. Yeah, see how strong that is, right? The JP manages to hit you, and you're still plus enough to hit him, right? So let's take a look at this string here. How'd you get hit? Okay, so I'm not sure about Mai's light string pressure here. Does it normally end after 2, or is there another button you could have pressed there?
I can do a third one,
Okay.
but I guess I just didn't get the third one.
That's fine. But the idea here is
I
that
think I walked up and grabbed.
Oh, okay,
I
went
think
for a throw.
I have a I think I have a bad habit, especially I guess in high stress situations where I will end my combos, or I guess like get one hit and kind of just go up and grab. So I think that's kind of what it was.
Gotcha. And I think that's actually fine. And what I'll say is that, and this is something I do a lot actually, is that on knockdown, I'll go for this kind of light, meaty jab pressure to set up a strike throw mix up, even though it's not +2 really. But typically after 2 lights, right, this is where the mix up happens, right? So you could walk forward and throw, you could go for a third light, you could try to shimmy, right? You have and it beats certain things that they do, right? If they continue blocking, they may get thrown, right? Here's what the mix-up is. Now, what this JP elects to do is they delay jab, right? Well, they didn't really delay it enough, but they go for a jab here, right? So this is a way to beat this mix-up is by delaying your jab, right? So you do a delay jab here, and that would beat the 3 options that I talked about, right? So if you're try to shimmy, you'll get hit out of it. If you try to walk up throw, you get counter hit out of it, like you see here. And if you continue your light string, they'll block it and you'll be spaced out, right? So this is a very common option to defend this, but I don't hate the idea of going for a walk up throw here, right?
Okay.
It's just that the JP elected to do something that beats you. Now you can, if you recognize that the JP is selecting this particular defensive option, then you can come up with a way to beat that, right? Like you can say, oh, how would I actually beat that in that selection, right? We can take a look at how you would beat that later on, but you'd have to take into account what defensive option the JP is doing in that situation, so that the next time it happens, you'll be able to do something else, right? So, because I mean, the JP's conversion here, like what he gets out of that is not a whole lot, right? He actually just stops your pressure, but doesn't really convert it into anything. So, and then you beat him with a dash up, and he swipes for some reason. Okay. Good counter poke, right? So you use that same mini quick very effectively here. So that's good. Oh, you checked with the medium punch? Okay. Good check again. So this is a pretty dominating position, right? You have them in the corner. They haven't really been able to get around your neutral. You've been able to effectively lock them in the corner. So their zoning is like completely dead right now, right? They can't do anything.
This is kind of where you want to have JP, damn.
Yeah.
I forgot how I lost this.
And then now JP's in his win condition spacing, right?
The way we just said no zoning back to straight zoning. And that was I just realized if you don't have stocks, I don't think I can go through
it's
spike.
Not projectile invincible.
Yeah. And that's kind of like what me and Hatsuba talked about, like that he saw that I wasn't doing enough against JP was that, right? Because I don't have a drive gauge to throw a fan.
Yeah.
The porter's right there. I can't really jump. So
yeah. So this is a tough position to navigate, right? Especially with your drive being where it was. So both of you guys had low drive because you've been playing the game, but then this happens, right? So how do you deal with this, right? He gets a meaty portal, right? Or not meaty, but like he gets a safe portal, right? Throws a portal up and he's plus. You get clipped here. That would have worked if he was projectile invincible. Maybe. I think you get far enough. You get hit. So now it's just a matter of block, right?
Great. Mine is
so unfortunately, you go for a jump, which tags you, right?
Yeah.
So, JP is pretty plus here if you look. Let's see. Is he plus? So after this, portal comes out. You block. Right? So he goes for... So you block here. You're able to act. And here's where the spike comes out. So you have, 6-ish frames or whatever this is, 10-ish frames or whatever. So jumping is a little bit risky, I think, after blocking the overhead portal, like the overhead spike, because it'll tag you out of the jump, right? So if the JP is paying attention like he is here, he tags you as you're jumping, right? So he throws that spike out. So what you can try to do is just walk and block. So instead of going for the big jump, you just kind of walk up, take up some space. Again, the hard part here is that you don't have enough meter to parry, right? So you felt like you had to take a risk. But you could probably take one more hit here without losing your drive gauge, right? So again, this is still a very difficult position, right? JP is in prime position to win the game outright, which he does. So because you're gonna burn out, right? As if you keep jumping here, so what the JP is trying to do here is like trying to get you to. He knows you want to jump, right? And he has some meter to burn, right? So he throws the OD spike here. So he lands there, right? Lands this.
He knows that I don't want to take the blocks, right?
Yeah. He knows that you're gonna try to. I think he's reading. You're gonna try to do something. So because he has meter, he goes for OD spike here, right? Which is plus for him. So even if you block this, you can't really take up space anymore. And then sets up a portal, right? So now you're in the same loop that you were in the previous interaction, except now you're almost dead, right?
Right.
Yep. And then you get tagged because you try to parry against the ghosts before it gets there. Yeah. Right? So it's interesting here is that I don't think the JP was trying to bait you necessarily into running your parry there. I think they were thinking you were going to walk forward or dash forward or jump. Because if you had jumped in this situation here, right, I think that medium will tag you. Right? Right. Oh, I think I have the wrong situation. Hold up. Right here, right? So this situation right here.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's thinking you're gonna jump. That's why he does this. So, and I think that might tag you if it does. But it's tough because you go for the parry here, it kind of burns you out, right? and you kind of have to guess when you can try to move, right? Because of the way the portal is there, you have to respect it, right? You have to move through it. So that'd be something I would definitely talk to Soup about for how you'd manage and navigate the long range situation you're in right here. It's just really hard because you don't have enough meter really to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I will say is that for Ghost, when you see it coming, a lot of times people will parry kind of early. My only suggestion there that I have to give to people is that you really want to parry when the Ghost is actually coming at you. So you don't react to the fireball the same way that you would for other characters. You wait for the Ghost to come close to you and then you parry. The reason for that is because if he does the fake Ghost and you just parry on reaction to the fireball, you'll waste drive, right? Which is what JP wants. So the way to get around that is to just wait for the Ghost to actually come out, and once it's actually in your face, then you go for the parry, right? Because then you can attempt to perfect parry it, right? Perfect parry drive rush or jump or move or whatever from there. And it also negates some of the drive loss that you get from just kind of autopiloting parry against the fireball motion, right? Because the Ghost, when you do does the fake, it only is here, right? So if you see it go past that, then you can react with parry, right? So, yep, good. That's a sick conversion. Good throw. Amnesia? Nope. Oh, okay. I hate how you can't really punish this. I think Ken can like level 2. But it's
Yeah, I think Kami can like spiral arrow, and I feel like some people have different options, but JP doesn't. I
don't think JP can. Yeah, it's clipped by the jump medium kick or jump medium punch, right? I think you can break some. Yeah. Yeah. So here. Yeah. So this is tough. I think if you had decided to press here, it would have been okay. Sometimes it's hard to recognize the range that JP actually has, which is a lot longer than you expect sometimes. But you're standing outside of it. So recognition that you are standing outside of it means that you could have like went for a whiff punish right here, right?
Jeez, yeah.
And there. Like even though this is disjoint, that hitbox is still out. So if you press your stand medium kick there, you probably actually are able to clip this.
Okay.
So if we take a look.
I feel like they're so fast.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not. But the other one, the stand heavy kick. Punch? Yeah. Oh, stand medium punch. Let's try. Oh, that's not it. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe it's tougher there. The heavy kick though that was there, that definitely you should be able to punish, I think. So this one here. So it's hard to recognize that that's actually gonna whiff. But I don't think any show. I'm pretty sure you'd be able to hit that with some button, right? So.
Spend some hours in the lab.
Yeah, that might be. The other thing you could consider here too is that the information getting from the JP here is that they like to press in that situation, right? So you're standing just outside of his stand heavy kick range or stand medium punch range, and they just pressed twice, right? So that might be something to consider when you're playing them later on, is that you stand in that range again, and they might press those 2 buttons again, in which case you now are ready to try to go for a whiff punish, right? So, that's the information you kind of have to be thinking about as the game goes on.
Okay.
Get checked. Okay. Checks his jump. Oh, okay. Yeah, so here,
I don't know what to tell you, Juzzy.
It's fine. Oh, he didn't level 3 you? Okay. Oh no.
See, I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think you probably need stock for that to do that.
Yeah.
This is full conversion, level 3. Oh, what? Okay. Nice.
Oh my god.
Oh, you had him.
I know. I needed to do crouch jab, dash up.
Oh, this is how you die right here. Yep. Oh. Okay. So, scramble situation aside at the end there, that could have went either way, I think, overall. But it's tough with JP zoning, how to deal with that overall. That's more of a character matchup thing, in my opinion, versus like general fundamentals. The only things you would consider though is like careful management of your meter, and how you navigate the fireball, right? So once you have an idea of, because JP's zoning, there are a couple of styles to it, if you will, where like you have someone that really likes to throw portal versus someone that uses more ghosts or uses more spikes or whatever. So I think there's a little bit of variation that could be felt from that. But for the most part, it's a character-specific matchup thing, right? So what tools does Mai have to get around fireballs? How can you use them effectively? All that. So, yeah. But what I will say is that I think the spacing and situations that you try to generate by standing where you were standing, I think we're good. It's just that JP is JP, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, so let's take a look at one more replay, and I think I want to look at one of ours on the one that you won, and let's take a look at that.
Yes. Can I take a minute to use the restroom?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. While I bring that up. Is it? Yeah. Man. So rather than watching this, you're watching this have it as part of a double header. I'll be doing another one tonight at like 8. Helping some other folks out, trying to get through this queue. It's been pretty good. It's like almost 30 episodes of this now, so I'm happy that's been working out.
All right.
Cool. All right, let's take a look.
Yeah, I think I just got a notification that I purchased my first leverless a whole year ago today. So great to get some. I just got it like right now.
That's funny.
But awesome.
This is game you won. So you see the spacing you're playing at is pretty solid, right? Like I can't really hit you with anything. Although I think you might, try to whiff punish one of those buttons, but I tend I'm not pressing as much as I probably normally would, so you're just kind of trying to feel that out. Again, fan mix-up is really good, right? So if you can get away with that, continue doing it. So here what happened, right? So we're 0. Go for that. And then you catch me walking back, or am I pressing the button? Oh, I press a sand medium kick. Try to counter poke. So this is good.
I see. But I use a little bit too much drive gauge.
Yeah, unfortunately your meter's a little tough, right? So the OD fan here
Takes away too.
Yep. And then block a couple things, right? So the driver here is not necessarily bad, right? This is actually a stronger position for you than it would have been. But it does mean that you're a little bit susceptible more to burnout here. So your follow-ups and conversions and stuff, you need to be careful about selecting the routes to stay meterless if you can.
Yeah, I feel like something that I've been trying to work on is, I guess, being able to push someone to the corner without using drive gauge. And I feel like mine's really good at that. Instead of using the drive rush, I can just do like the heavy cartwheel.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does somewhat similar, pushing you to the corner.
Yeah. If you can buffer into that, right? So you can do, or even like light conversions. So like a light conversion into the light cartwheel. Still pretty good corner carrier. It's not going to be as absurd as like the full conversion, but it's good meterless, right? It's good. It's decent damage for what it is, and it's good. A good push back, good push through the corner. So here was actually really good. So you whiff punish my crouching medium punch. So what's happening here now is that like I'm trying to still counter poke you, and you just whiff punish me, right? It's perfect, beautiful, right? So a little bit of a walk back here, right? Make that whiff, right? So you walk back, it whiffs, react to the stand heavy punch, perfect.
Yeah,
unfortunately here, yeah.
It's because I think you also saw the drop too, where I'm trying to do EX DP, or I'm not EX fan after that. But you have to be like up close with my. So
yeah.
I think that one I just pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, so that might be something to lab out, is like how when you land a punish counter stand heavy punch, what do you do, right? Meterless conversions. Here, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
it's
because you were crouching too.
yeah.
Since you was crouching MP, so I don't think I would have been able to do a heavy
The Rienbu.
Rienbu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I probably have to figure this out to like either do medium Renbu or do just like another cartwheel.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that I'm sure if you ask around, I'm sure there's some good meterless conversion you can get off of like a space stand heavy punch with my, because you're -5, I'm 5, right? So yeah, I'm sure there's something you can do. Yeah. So what happened here, right? So you were pressing a little bit too much potentially here. So after
Yeah,
this,
like
right, and then I
Yeah.
just kind of press, right? Because you're -1 here. But you know, obviously anything that you want to press that would reach me from here is probably slower than 8 frames, right? So I just kind of wake up crouching medium. I don't wake up with it, but rather I delay a crouching medium kick here. Right, so you whiff that button. Right, I wait a second, and then I press. Right, so you see there's like 2 or 3 frames here. Basically, what I'm doing here when I do this, and I don't know if you'll see this in your games or not, but what I'm doing here is I'm trying to wait for you to start moving. Most players will actually move after a situation like this. So you press some lights or press some buttons or whatever, it's blocked. 9 times out of 10 at this level, players will move out of the way. Right, they'll try to back up.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And actually, that's what I'm trying to do. Now, what actually happens is I tag you pressing a button, right?
Right.
But that's what in my head is happening, right? Is that they're gonna back up. Can scratching me kick still reach them? I should be able to tag.
You would have still caught the walk back.
The walk
right?
back, probably. So if I don't press the button, if you don't press anything here, let's see. I think it's gonna be very, very close. Actually, I might whiff here. Let's see if I just hold back. Yeah. So if you just hold back, it actually might not reach, right?
It
So
does Ken's crouching medium kick. Is it long range? Kind of.
it's
like
actually
Cammy's?
it's actually medium-ish, right? The range is actually close to like middle of the pack. It's just that
Right.
it's faster. It's 7 frames, so that's what kind of makes it good. Because there's a lot
see.
of crouching medium kicks are actually 8 frames, right? I think Mai actually has a 7 framer.
I
But,
think yeah. So it's kind of like Mize because Mize isn't long range, but it still has a good amount.
yeah, it's a little bit longer than you think it would be, and it comes out faster than you expect for whatever reason. So that is something. So yeah, that if you continue walking back, I whiff that, right? So you'd be able to whiff punish potentially if you're looking at the spacing.
Right.
So that's
Like
what
you
I was
said,
thinking. In my head.
pixels, right?
Yeah, it's talking pixels, right? So I thought it was close, so I went for it, right? Obviously, it would have whiffed, and I would have gotten whiff punished for it if you had just continued backing up. But you went for the button there, unfortunately, and that gets counter hit, right? So you know, it's an example of one of those things where in like me as a player in my head, I'm thinking one thing, and then something else happens, and the result is the same, right? It worked out. So I'm able to kind of go from there into. I think I just go into a Jinrai, or what do I do here? Let's see. Oh, drive rush. Okay. So you know that is what it is. The result is the same either way. If I hit you, don't hit you. You know, or you block it or whatever. I'm committed to this drive rush now, right? So if it whiffs, it's not a big deal if you're not ready to whiff punish it because nothing happens, right? So, hey Amber, what's good? So yeah. Good reversal here. I like it.
Yeah, I feel like I was just like seeing if you would rush up at me.
Yeah, and I think that's fine, right? A lot of Kens will go for that, and you hadn't really been representing reversal as much, so I wasn't really going for it, right? So
Yeah, there was a match that I had yesterday against a Luke that I didn't really present any reversals, and I kept on getting kind of like walked up grabbed.
yeah,
And like I grabbed
Yeah.
like 6 times in the match, and it was just like even Satoru was like, you should probably at least show reversals, right? And I was like,
yeah,
well,
yeah. You have to represent it, right? If in Elky situations you don't, if in my head as the offensive player I'm not worried about reversal, then it makes it harder for you to get out of whatever's happening, right? So you have to represent it because an Elky situation is as much a guess for the offensive player as the defensive player, or at least it should be. Obviously, the risk reward is skewed toward the offensive player because if the offensive player guesses correctly, they get a huge reward. If the defensive player guesses correctly, they get to stand back up, which isn't quite the same thing. But
Yeah.
you know, you have to give yourself a chance, right? You have to give yourself a chance to stop their pressure. And representing reversal there means that it could be situations where I go for a shimmy or I try to delay my button or whatever. And if you continue blocking, then my pressure just ends, right? We're back to neutral and you're able to get back into the game, right? So good with punish, right? So I'm not spacing this correctly, right? So you're able to get through that. It's good. Right, so good with punish. Conversion. Alright, so you go for a shimmy here. I go for a jab, right? So doesn't, no harm, no foul, but I did feel like you didn't really go for a lot of meaty options, and at least toward the middle of this set or to the end of the set. So maybe something to rotate back in and go for like throws and stuff, because I feel like you also didn't really throw me as much in the corner. You can see I don't even delay tech most of the time. I just kind of block, right? Delay jab.
Yeah.
Whatever. So you can throw that.
Yeah, don't forget to throw back in.
Yeah, don't forget to throw. Because Mai has a pretty strong throw loop, right? You throw loop forward dash, and then it leaves her in a situation where it's ambiguous if you're going to go for a throw or not, and you can shimmy from there, right? So,
Yeah.
good with punish on the sweep. And I'm dead, right? So, a lot of this round, the way you were winning was that in neutral you were winning the interactions, right? So it had less to do with Oki guesses and more to do with the fact that like I wasn't, I was taking damage on whiff buttons, right? So when you play neutral like that, it's a little bit more stable than trying to like drive rush in or anything like that. And I think that game plan is enhanced by adding fan mix up as well, right? So you throw fans to get me off balance, and then all of a sudden you switch to like playing super solid neutral game. It can be difficult to juggle both of those as a defensive player there. So something to consider.
I see.
Check the drive rush with an OD fan.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it.
I don't know if I can get a conversion if they hit, but I have to block that.
It's worth looking up at least. And if not, you take what you get, right? So this is actually really good recognition on your part to wake up or immediately crouching medium kick here. So I'd been going for like shimmies on you a lot, and expecting you to reversal, you don't really do it. So you catch me continuing to walk back. Or sorry, you catch me as I walk back and trying to space my stand heavy punch, right? So this is actually pretty good recognition on your part. Good counter poke, if you will. Because this is slow, right? This is like a 10 frame move on my part. So you be willing to press there, I think that's good.
Right.
The unfortunate thing, again, is that your meter is in a situation it's in, right? So you get not quite the conversion you needed for the corner carry. And your meter is in a situation where I can just kind of bully it now. So I kind of actually go for... I should have been going for something where I could burn you out here.
Yeah.
But you get hit instead. Which,
yeah.
better for me, I guess.
I know. I guess I was trying to... I didn't know it was meaty. Like the same heavy punch drivers.
Oh,
so
yeah, from that situation, it can be,
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to press there, so.
Yeah.
All right, so you just got DP'd here, and what do? I shimmy you again, right? Oh, no. Okay, I go for throw. Okay, so you went for the light tech there, good. If I'd shimmied, obviously it's bad, but, now we're in a situation where I think I'm in a good position to try to win this, so let's see what happens. All right, so now here is where I got a sense that you were really kind of afraid of pressing buttons, right, at this point. So you can see me trying to get you to press something, and you don't do it, right? And then you jump over me. Right?
Yeah.
So I should have been able to cross-cut you here or jump back or something and react to that. I don't. Is what it is. Right?
Okay.
Good stuff, good stuff. Alright, I catch you walking up. That's what it is. I don't convert, though. And then I get you with the punish here, right? So, this is pretty standard stuff, right? Like, press a button. Right, back up, let you press my button, right? Pretty standard stuff.
I've actually not really seen that.
Oh, the conversion? Or
like pressing a button, seeing it hit, and then using that also as like a shimmy.
Oh,
Going back.
yeah. This game is kind of funny for that. It's less of a. It was more of an improv thing on my part, but after this button is blocked, or hit rather, since I don't really convert it here, I kind of just back up, because a lot of times people will either continue blocking here. So what I actually do is I try to walk out to a safe space to press my stand heavy kick. So I'm not actually like super whiff punishing here, because like I can't react. 6, 9. It's on the borderline of like what I think a reactable whiff punish would be. But what I'm actually doing here is I'm pressing my stand heavy kick at a safe-ish range, right? Like it's hard to, and if you block this, even though you're -5 or I'm -5 here, the spacing would allow me to press another button behind this and tag whatever you're doing after. So like if you block this, the spacing makes it such that Ken can just press anything, and it works out, right? So the space trap, wish punish, right? We hear it affectionately called. That's a pretty common thing in this game especially, right? Especially because of how the minus frames are and the way the space and pushback is, right? It kind of leads to these types of things. So in essence, all I'm doing here is I'm just trying to correctly space my stand heavy kick. It just happens to tag you as you're trying to press. Right?
Yeah.
It outranges your crouching medium kick, right? So you know, it works out for me here. So.
Makes sense.
And then I screw up here, not doing the wrong combo. Could have done super, right? So that situation I was talking about where maybe supering makes sense or doing something like that. Obviously, I've routed incorrectly here because if I go for the route that you normally do for Ken in the corner here, it actually kills you, but I don't, right? So then I end up losing because of it. I get back thrown. Right? And now I'm trying to like tighten up and hit you once, right? Right?
Yeah.
And the same situation that you were in last time where you ended up winning, I lose this, right? Because I get impatient,
Right.
right? Now I'm getting look at that, like 3 counter hits, right? There's the whiff punish, counter hit again, right? So, and then I die from here because you can super. Right? So what I will say is that you did a really good job in the corner, keeping me there and making me play unfair neutral, right? So that's really the secret sauce, in my opinion, of how you keep someone in the corner is that when you're in normal kind of footsie's range, right, the normal grounded neutral, both players can adjust their spacing the way they want to, right? So like I can move into your space, I can move out of your space, right? I can try to force you to press a button, I can make you think about me moving in and out of that. But when I'm cornered, I can't do the space adjustment anymore, right? The only options available to me from a footsie standpoint anyway is to either try to stop you walking in by pressing a button, right? Or trying to walk up and press my own button. Right? So I can't really whiff punish you anymore because I don't have space to back up anymore, right? I don't have space to adjust to make it look like I'm coming in or whatever to make you whiff. So you did a really good job of that, right? So if you look at here, after this back throw, right, press, right? So you see you're standing at a good space, right? So this, however you're doing this, keep doing it, basically is what I'm trying to get at, right? I just want to highlight this because this is a really important aspect as you climb to be able to do this effectively, because a lot of players like will lose to the, like I lost in this, right? I lost this 100% that you're able to do this, and I wasn't able to get out of it because once you start taking away the options that people have to try to get out of the corner, like you DP jumps, right? You check drive rushes or like the other shenanigans that people can do to try to get out of it, you're able to check them. Doing this is like the most stable-ish way to try to get out of the corner. Right? So now we're both trying to play this game of like, I want to get out of the corner and you want to keep me there. And this is what you did here was actually textbook on how I think you should be applying this pressure. Right? So you're pressing buttons at ranges where my buttons will whiff, right? Trying to get me to press. Right? Check the drive rush, right? The fireball worked out. Standing in a space where like now, you know, and timing it such that the buttons seem to line up with mine, right? Breaking my rhythm, if you will. So this is perfect. So this right here, keep doing this. This will get you far, I think. Because people get frustrated in the corner, and that's how they lose, right? And that's how I lose this, right? I try to back up, press another button, and then boom, conversion, I'm dead. Right? So,
Okay. Cool.
yeah. So the main takeaways, I think, for you in particular, so the neutral game aspect I think is totally fine. The meter management aspect I think can be a little bit better, right? So just be careful of when you decide to use drive rush and when you decide to OD fan. I think usage of fan in general probably needs to go up a little bit just so that it helps complement your neutral game, right? So if I in my head have to deal with like, oh my god, he's gonna fan or not, and then you start doing this like solid neutral game behind it, it makes those things better, right? So now I have to deal with more mental stack. Then you can start doing things like jumps, right? And the other like mental stack taxation pieces like raw drive rush, overhead, that type of stuff works better when there's a solid neutral game and a solid fan game behind that, right? So those are good things. And then I think corner defense wise, you could probably, or defense in general, you could probably reversal a little bit more on your Oki situations. If you think that the player is not respecting that option from you, they're just applying meaty pressure a lot, you can do that. You can also do stuff like delay jabs or delay button timings to try to mitigate some of that. And then the last thing would be some of the conversion pieces, right? So just making sure that you can hit that conversion consistently when you get it. You know, otherwise, I thought that you did really well. You took a game off me, right? That corner sequence that I just showed was done very very well. So yeah, that's I think that's all I would say for that. So I think fundamentally, I think you're on the right track for sure. I think like you don't play a super heavy like read based playstyle for the most part. Although that JP match you did hit a couple of DIs, which was dope. But you can do that, sprinkle that in every once in a while, right? Making sure that you keep the opponent thinking about what's happening, right? So yeah, cool man. So what do you think? How does that sound so far?
No, that was perfect. I think it's good to see someone from another perspective breaking down kind of like the small things, and it is good to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
Fundamentally, there's a ability to get higher.
Yeah. No, you played really well. Yeah, it's funny because I think at the level you're at now, 1550 moving up, like the small details that I was nitpicking, they really do matter a lot because the advantage that you get at that level of game, the opportunities really shrink, right? You only get a couple of opportunities, you don't see a lot of unforced errors from your opponent as much. So you have to generate them yourself or, find a way to get them. So those little details are how you grind out advantage enough to be able to win games. So yeah, cool man. All right, you got time to run it back? Did you want to run it back?
Yeah, let's do one more.
All right, cool.
Let's see what I can finish.
Yeah, man. I think honestly, if you keep playing at the rate you're playing at, you're probably going to be able to beat me pretty consistently, pretty soon here. So yeah. So yeah, the only tips I would have for this one is make sure that when you knock me down, that you have a solid setup behind it. Whatever that setup ends up looking like. Obviously maybe you don't know it now, or maybe you have some just haven't been using it. Just make sure you have that, right? And then watch your fan usage really. So. Or you watch your meter usage rather. So
Okay.
That'd be the only things I would think about right now. Otherwise, leave the mics
Yeah.
hot so we can talk through it. But yeah, that's really the main thing where I think that you can improve like right away. Right away is just be careful your meter usage.
Okay. Let's do it.
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
You got a reversal.
Yeah.
You got
Okay.
a reversal. But you see what I mean though, right? Is if I'm not respecting that option, it's gonna
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that you can just press buttons and I'm just like
You gotta
like
hold
a
it, yeah.
deer in
And
headlights, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. I don't think I DI'd you
And
once
now
in our
I'm dead.
first set.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just me changing it up a little bit. But I think like again, the getting out of that one corner situation with the reversal was pretty big. Like you had a chance to get back into the game, right? So
Uh-huh.
whoa, that works. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do
Yeah,
there.
there's the thing I can do now. Nice. Uh-oh.
Ah, worked out.
Nice CP. There it is. Very nice. Yeah, you gotta do it every once in a while. I probably could have cashed out fully, but yeah, I think again, like representing the option is good. Maybe don't rely on it too
Yeah.
much, but yeah, good. But
Yeah.
your timing is getting better for that, I think. So
Yeah.
nice, nice.
Ah, that was a level 1. It's okay.
Nice. Oh, I dropped it. Oh, definitely don't do it on the last interaction too.
Yeah.
I know. I just spent all this time talking about you should reversal more.
I know.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's a. I'm just like, I know I'm losing, but I'm focusing on that, and I feel like if I'm putting my mental on that, I can like kind of not have to think about the other things. So often,
yeah.
like DPs are weak. Like I don't have to think about the DP, just do it.
Yeah. You should be making your defensive decision like I would feel like kind of early, like almost after you've been knocked down already, as they're coming up, as you watch the setup. You should
Yeah.
kind of know what your defensive options, right? So like I was matching DP there,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So also Ember for Zero, thanks for the follow, appreciate you.
Oh.
Oh, that's an unfortunate DP.
Yeah, that was a level 2.
Okay, that would have got
Yeah.
me then. Yeah.
Yeah.
All good, all good.
I did see where kind of sorry, I forgot.
Nice.
Oh, where I was trying to play a little bit more tight in the corner after I kind of
Got hit a
like
few times.
dropped
Yeah.
my combo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's where the stress came out.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Ah. Yeah, so definitely like another thing I would consider is when you land a conversion in that situation you hit me, right? I would really consider level 3ing there, even though it won't kill, mostly because you'll get meter back, right?
Right.
So it's a big reason why you use super also, or you can super. Oh! Oh! Probably could have extended one more time, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have killed you there. Maybe. I had full bar.
Thanks.
Oh.
Damn.
That's actually really difficult to defend in Burnout because a delay tech will kill you either way, and you can't take a throw, so you have to roll the dice and make a decision. In this case, you decided to block, which would have been able to beat Shimmy, but you know it is what it is. So again, I think you kind of have some stuff to work on. I think, and it's pretty actionable. I think, right? Like general meter management, combo selection, routing in those situations is pretty easy to get through. I do think some of the defensive situations you had a better read on. You were trying to reversal more often and trying to pick your spots, and I think you did a good job of that. Again, it's really I'll say for sure it's really hard to defend in the corner when you're burned out, right? The threat of DI is coming. You don't know when it's coming. You have to continue buffering, blocking, making sure that you're trying to fight your way out, and then me being me, the DI never comes, right? Just continue pressing buttons and you're trying to buffer and all that stuff, and it doesn't happen. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I just think your gameplay is pretty solid, man. If you continue doing things you're doing now, obviously spacing can be a little improved. Just go to the lab and kind of watch to see how close and how far you can stand for certain buttons of yours to reach, right? And then the other part to it too that I think people probably should talk about more is that you want to have a sense of how fast or slow things can move, right? Or sorry, not things, but your move speed.
Yeah.
So something that happens, right? Both players trying to adjust space, right? Moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You have to kind of get a sense of like, and I don't know if you can lab this in particular, but something to keep in mind as you play rank sets is that the space changes depending on if one player is moving, both players are moving, and what direction they're moving in, right? So if I'm moving forward, the space is going to change a certain speed, right, because of Ken's walk speed. If we're both moving, right, it's going to change a certain direction or a certain pace because either maybe we're both walking forward, I'm walking back or whatever. But the idea is that the rate at which that changes can change very quickly if the players change direction or stop moving or keep right. So like getting a sense of that can really help your neutral game combined with your sense of spacing. So like if you have an idea of what space you can press your crouch and medium kick at, and you think they're going to walk into it because you're walking forward and you think they're going to walk forward, or they're walking into your space, you can control that space in between by you walking forward all of a sudden and pressing, right? So, but overall though, I think you do a really good job of staying in the neutral game. I think the issue came when IO landed a couple whiff punishes, you tightened up, right? So, it is what it is though.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool man.
Yeah, thank you so much for kind of going through the small things.
Yeah,
And
yeah, definitely.
like, even though I was losing, like, I feel like as the more I play, I'll start integrating those more like naturally,
Oh yeah, yeah,
kind of
100%.
like understanding the little pixels, or I guess
Yeah,
the small mental game.
yeah, yeah. And footsie's like grounded neutral. Honestly, like footsie's quote unquote is all about that, right? It's all about being able to control that space and play the mind game in between that adjust that space and then the buttons that come after that, right? So so yeah, I will shout out Ember here because they are a big reason why I can talk about that stuff. They talk about this stuff all the time. If they're the Ember from the Ken Discord that I know and love, then yeah, they definitely know what they're talking about. But yeah, that's where I got that from. Actually, I stole it from them. So shout out Ember and then chat here. But yeah, the space control aspect is definitely a huge part of that, and I think you'll get better at that as you play more. I mean, you've improved a ton since I first played you way back when you were still on Cammy. Like your improvement from then till now has been huge. So I'm glad that's working out for you. Cool, man. So yeah, I don't expect you to integrate it right away, but as you play more and more, it'll come in. So
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Juzzy, and
yeah,
have a good weekend.
yeah, take care. I'll just do the outro here. So if you want to hang out, great. If not, it's all good. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
So this has been Sit Down and Shut Up. So for anyone still watching this, this is a show I run out of the Fight Rise Discord. So Fight Rise is a fighting ring community. They run bi-weekly events through their One Fight Stand series, which is a 7-round Swiss tournament for master level players. And then for our non-master level players, they usually have a pool of like 8 or so players, or if not, if more depending on the sign up. And you get a 8-man or 8-person rather round robin. So around 7 rounds, depending on pool size, obviously. So it's a great way to get some tournament level sets. You can hang out, have a good time. They run those every other Tuesday. They also do community showcase events through their Urge to Fight series, which is actually coming up Sunday. I'll be commentating for that, so if you guys want to check that out, it's at twitch.tv/FightRiseFGC. So they do community showcase events. I think this week we have some good players coming in. Femshep is going to be playing, as well as BJR. So some good players coming in. They also do fundraising events every year, I think, in the Christmas time. So if you take a look at past streams, you can take a look at that. Also going to promote their Big League KO series. So it's a league format that they're running now. So it's a 5-week format where you get a pool of 8-ish players, or around 8 players, right? All of around similar level, like MR or rank or whatever. Then you play a 7-round round robin. Each game or each match is set as a first to 5. And you play 2 sets a week over the course of 5 weeks, right? So you play that full round robin, and then there's a showcase at the end of it for the top players to get a cool little Discord thing and all that. So I always like to plug that. I think the signups are coming up soon, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free. I'll also mention that if you liked what I'm doing here and you want to get a training session for yourself similar to this, please join the Fight Rise Discord. You can take a look at the Sit Down and Shut Up channel, right? There'll be instructions on how to join and get it queued up for one of these sessions, right? I'm also part of the Newbie Fight Club. So Newbie Fight Club is another fighting game community that is geared toward helping newer players get into the game. They run lobby nights every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so feel free to join that Discord as well. You can get games with folks. and see, they run lobby nights, like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think Mondays they typically run like a modern centric one, but you can run any control scheme you want. Wednesdays are typically the main lobby night for newer players to get in, and then Fridays they typically run a little more freeform, right? Play a match level players or match level characters, whatever the case may be. And they also run tournaments every so often. I think they run them bi-weekly as well. They also have EU events. Both Discords run EU events as well. So if you're in the EU, you can do that. They also run other games too on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, so like Tekken and Virtua Fighter. So if those games kind of interest you, feel free to join that. The last Discord shout out that I've been shouting out more recently now is the Warriors Den. So there's another group of really good players there. A couple of folks there do coaching there too, as I understand it. So I don't have their Discord information, but if you find me on one of these Discords and ping me, I can definitely send you an invite for that. I need to get that updated on there. So cool. So thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. I know I don't chat as much as I probably should in during this, but I usually focus on helping the player I'm working with out. So I really do appreciate your messages, your follows, and your subs, and all that good stuff. So I'll actually be streaming again later today. I have another one of these sessions happening at 8 p.m. Pacific, so I'll be online again later on tonight. But other than that, thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. If I don't talk to you, thanks again for tuning in. Take care.